Obviously, there's been a couple of debates, obviously, around conscientious objection. I'm surprised, actually, this is not probably grouped with the other ones to a certain extent. But the fact that they're listened, and just to make a couple of short points of it. Points are made with regards to protection of life bill, and in that bill, the medical council guidelines, that relate to that bill, state that doctors must do their utmost to protect mother and baby. So, obviously, those guidelines, which we're told will not change, have in their own iteration a very strong pro-life view in it. I suppose for me, the issue that has struck me the most around this is that doctors around the country have stated to me that the very basis of their function, the very reason why they are in the practice, is being radically undermined by the government. Doctors have said they have invested time, energy, money into studying to become doctors in order to protect, nurture and save lives. And they've stated that it's unprecedented in their experience that a government would change the environment so radically of a group of workers and therefore undermine them in their ability to provide services. And we also know that when you don't provide a proper freedom of conscience for doctors and medical health workers around the world, that leads to certain people leaving the profession. It also leads to certain workers not entering the profession, and those who operate under those terms suffer burnout more in the long run as well, because they're constantly in mental dissonance with regards to with the work that they're involved in. Now, I know that the Minister has stated that really what we're talking about here is just very simple arrangements for a doctor to pass on a patient to another individual. But the key point, and I'll make it here as well, is if, Minister, I was to arrange for the ending of your life in the way that this bill states, I would be seen morally complicit and also legally complicit as well. And that's if the doctors that you're talking about see an abortion in those terms. They see the unborn child as a living individual human being, and therefore having the value and the worth as anybody else. And the fact that they're being told under this legislation that they have to make arrangements for that unborn child to be aborted, it is a real difficulty for them. And all these people are doing are crying out for you to take that into consideration. Now, I suppose I heard Billy Kelleher and Micheál Martin and others, and it seems to me that they're looking to dictate the conscientious objection or the conscience of doctors. And again, I'd ask the question, why hasn't Micheál Martin and Billy Kelleher and the Minister sat down with the thousands of healthcare workers? These people are not making it up. They're not pretending that there is a serious difficulty here. They're not, for people to actually stand up on this issue in the environment of today's society is actually a really hard thing to do. For people to in their professions, to make the point that this is such a difficulty, to swim against the tide, is a very, very hard thing to do. So what I'm saying to you is, like, we hear this point as well. On one side of the debate, we're told
if there are members who want to contribute, I would ask them to await and indicate to the Chair and allow Deputy Tóibín, whether you agree with him or whether you don't, to stop interjecting.
The hard thing to understand in this is we're told that there are oceans of doctors willing to deliver this service. And then we're told, but we have to force certain doctors to make arrangements for it. It's either one or the other. If there are adequate numbers happy to provide the service, well then, in actual fact, you don't need to go down this particular route. And as I said earlier, the limits of one individual's rights are where they infringe on another individual's rights. And most people would understand that it is an infringement of a person's rights to force them to be involved in a process that leads to the ending of another human being's life. So, again, this is something that thousands of doctors are crying out for, and I'd ask the Minister to accept the amendment.